This day 916 Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. This week's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored for a schus for Shidduchim. With Hashem should be great to us. Today we are doing Siman Tafresh Gimel, Yud Aleph, to Tafresh Daled Gimel. Mamish, actual washing, full washing. The title of when it's obvious, it's not for the purpose of the pleasure of washing. But you're compelled to do this derech hilucho, the way on the way you go when you're on a trip. Going on Yom Kippurim, Shem is going to Yom Kippur based on Medrash to be smashed like Pnei Aviv, a rabbo, or to greet his father or his rebbe, or Mishigor Meru Chacham, or somebody who's greater than him in wisdom. Shel Yubav Ever and Nahar, which are on the other side of a river. Oh, the Shar Tzorchim Mitzvah, other purpose of Mitzvah, Shetzorch Labor Derech Mayim. You have to go through water. Over Avinu Choshesh, go through water. You don't have to be concerned that this might be prohibited. The Mishnah says only when you have no other way to get to your destination. Shan's Rechitza Shel Tanuk is not considered to be washing with pleasure. You also have a reminder you can put glass of water up to your neck. Both in going and in returning. If you don't allow him to return, he's not going to go. Passing the mitzvah is going to come to refrain from doing a mitzvah. The Chazal required that he should not lift up the hems of his garments on his arm, and remove his hand from underneath the rim of his of this garment. That's what people do on a weekday. We're afraid if you let you do that, then you're going to come to squeeze out the water. We don't want that to happen. Every can't walk like he walks on a weekday. It's going to not come to schita. Right, the reason of the Shulchan Aruch is not because that you come to the schita, but rather because it's not holding up the garment that way. It's not like wearing it, but rather it's like carrying it on your shoulder. So therefore, we're talking about there's no air presumably. So therefore, it's taking out a masuli on Yom Kippur, which is forbidden. He does say, however, that some right that's because of schita. According to this, even to lift up a little bit, like everybody does when they walk the water on a weekday, is also. Okay. He says that the Mechaber seems to bring different reasons in different places for this. Okay, going on. This is only when the water is not gushing. There's no danger by going even up to his neck of water. When the water is very, very rapid. Also, that might be person not allowed to go on a weekday, even above, a weekday above his hips. Because water is rapid, you can drown from the flow of the water. But also, that's so Nothing to do with Yom Kippur. A person can't put himself in danger. Which is silly walking the water is permitted. Lashut is also, but you're not allowed to swim. It's a rabbanon to swim on Shabbos and Yom Kippur, and Shabbos and Yom Kippur. You can't go through, can't go across on some sort of a ferry. I'm not sure it was actually a ferry, obviously, because then it wouldn't be getting wet. It seems like it's some sort of contraption which you hold on to when you cross the water. It's not like washing, which is permitted to him. The answer chitza is not considered to be washing. It's not considered rechitza because it's not pleasurable. That's why we allowed it. Avol shield, but swimming, even and holding on to something when we're swimming, is also no matter what. So Tamash Bag should be a tour. Is reason of the bag which the tour cited. The tour says brackets a tour shik shamaish number chitza. What's the image in watching? There's a baglatas if come down talk taret sign sham. The base says in Bach and Taz have difficulty to answer the question. But it's question much time, but the answer is simple. Going to Arukh HaShulchan. You know how to do things which are swimming, the only things which are walking. Yud Beis. Rabbein Beis says he involved because of his own shono. Had the shoy lavor begufo b'mayim with our mitzvah. That which allowed to pass through water for a mitzvah purpose. Dafka lavor begufo b'mayim atzam. It's only to go through the water themselves. Lavor b'sfina ktana yesh mishoy said. This here is the boat, not the previous. To go in a small boat, there are those who ask kind of shono. Because I'm yesh mishoy said. Why did it say there? Those who ask her. Mishum la'isur because of a tur b'shem bahag. This is the two words. This is the name of the bag. And that's what the difference is between this and washing. Going to the boat should be okay as well. But that's not a but instead it's not a comparison. Washing is one thing. Going in a little boat is another thing. Also, everybody gets also gamma two raktama bahag. The two only is a standard bag. Does not argue on him lahalacha. Okay, it brings down a bunch of things in brackets here, but they're mostly references we won't understand. You give him somebody also is going to watch his fruits. He can go through the water on the way, on the way back. In this case, we're not going to permit to go back in order you should be able to go there, because but we don't care if he doesn't go. It's not for a mitzvah. But he can go but he can't go. The washing, which is pleasurable. They allowed him because of the loss of money. Came the name was the Issa because no prohibition. The mutzah of our mind, everybody's allowed to go through water. I feel even had a way he was allowed to go. You could go around on the ground on dry land. Mutzah lavor, he's allowed to go through the water if it would be going around. It's better to walk less and go through the water than to go around. The bishop argues. Says, and it says, it's better to go around than to go through the water. So that's a very fundamental machlokes there. Yudah, Kosva Tuva Shona Sib Zayin. Rav Asul Avor B'Mayim K'dei Lechet Tzil Tamido. The Rebbe can't go to the Talmud through the water. Rambam Kiglaudin said the Rambam does not mention it at all. But Gemara have a boyish to the Gemara. It's a question which is not resolved. Yeshiv Shaltama, those who stand, those fake Rabbanon. In that case, it's Sayyid Rabbanon. But Laman and Chumra, why should we machmer? But nearly to Shedakti Michael Arukh HaShulchan explains when we try to consider that which the Shas is asking, it's not for purpose of pleasure to be mutter. So even with the Rebbe to go to the Talmud, Eladan Kenu, but it's like this: the body Talmud Olech like Rabbo Kavanah Mitzvah. A student's going to read his Rebbe's Sunday purpose of mitzvah. So there's somebody's going to watch his fruit. His intent is to watch his property. There's no washing of pleasure. A rabbi to Talmud, but as a rabbi going to the Talmud, which is not obligated, like coming to Talmud. Maybe he really has in mind he's doing it for the purpose of the pleasure. True, by the Amoraim, they certainly had a mind to L'Shem Shamayim to teach Torah. No question. But sorry though, but later generations, as long as small, I was saying when it's not a definite mitzvah, we can't rely on your saying that it's not for the purpose of pleasure. Also to Shulchan Aruch. But Rambam ishtamed this as some in Lamar Zeb Slach Psuka. The Rambam recused himself on this because he said he can't say definite halacha. Moshe Rabbi it's a time in Osir. But in any event, just like a Rebbe at Talmud would be to go to Talmud would be also according to that line reasoning of the Torah and the Shulchan Aruch came chaver so to friend. Ach im yodua shebechel l'shol davar halacha hargel shaito v'alimut. But if you know, they have to definitely ask even your friend, even your Talmud, I guess a halachic issue. It's definitely mutter. To go to kol shem miskam v'tanuk, everybody can tell you it's not there for the pleasure. Mishmur says if he's a Talmud whose Rebbe requires him for some things, Taz says he can pass through the river. Tosefes Shabbos answers this. So he's not going to learn. He's going to serve his master. If the rabbi is not sure about something, he goes to ask. So then he says it's Mistaber Kehataz. I don't know what this Taz says. It says here in the Okshon Ayin Taz, but it doesn't say what the Taz says. Okay, Tezvav. Mishra carry bisman says somebody who's had a mission in our day and age. Yom Kippur, Imlachu, if it's moist, Mekanchu b'mapa v'dayo, he wipes up with a cloth, and that's enough. Yisyavish al gufo, Shislache became dry in the body, or he became soiled. Rocket some comes some muchlachim b'labad. He only washed the places where he's dirty. The Shabbat says, but with the hand and not with the cloth, because you shouldn't come to schita. You shouldn't have to squeeze it. Vasachos kufa o litbo now to wash your body or go to the mikveh. Ava b'shari mosashanu zoy b'tfilas keri. Even if the rest of the year he does go to the mikveh for having a mission. Not smell rather, he just cleans himself with spal and damas. If his garment is not clean, if it's moist, he wipe it with something. If it's dry, put on another garment. In our day and age, a woman can't go to the mikvah on Yom Kippur, even if it's third time. The time when we feel b'lizmar la mitzvah, we hold the opinion that going to mikvah at the right time is not a mitzvah. A woman who has to wear white because she's in Shib and Akiyim. She's allowed to wash a little bit between her thighs. When he does mitzitza b'peh, sucks the blood. Also, they have to remind me, may not rinse his mouth with water. Tough ratio Dalit. Dine Siko Nilas Asano, the laws of anointing and putting on shoes. Av Sika Sulagamre. Anointing is also altogether. By Mshach Aguf means to anoint the body or a rush or the head, but he's a dover. And then with anything, also it's written. I feel mixas gufo, even part of his body. Feel ever echad, even one limb. But I feel mixas even in part of a limb. Actually, if he's sick, I feel able to even though he's not in any danger. Also he requires the anointing, but it's healing. Most of that's permitted to be chitza. It's like by washing, shushul for which is made for healing. Like we learned previously. Somebody who has an itch on his head, it's like a sickness, and he can anoint his head in the normal way, and doesn't be concerned. So that's specifically a place where even healthy people anoint their heads when they have scales on a weekday. But a place where a healthy person does not treat his itch with an ointment, so then he certainly can't do it after Shabbos. He's not sick. He doesn't have this itch. Also, if he has a zooming now to watch even to remove pollution. Now to anoint. Or to remove pollution. In this respect, anointing is more severe than washing. As it says, to anoint in order to remove some pollution is awesome. Because anointing is more of a pleasure than washing. In everything there can be pleasure. Truth is though, however, by chitza also we didn't allow by all washing, or by all pollutions. Only if he's dirty with pitch and excrement. But even then, he's still also to do anointing. Putting on shoes, is called affliction. When you don't wear the shoes, that's also Yom Kippur. The Chsiv says, when he was not bailus, was told to curtail his legs from being barefoot. This is derived that being barefoot is a sign of bailus, sign of affliction. It says, when David was running away from Avshalom, he went up the Mahar Zaysim, going up and crying, and his head was bent down, and he was going barefoot. That he was told to remove his shoe from his foot, in order to afflict himself. There are three perspectives. She says that base the chosel or asur anything of leather is also anything now is mutter. They wrote as follows: also no mina sound now put on a short sound shall or of leather afilu kav akitea chayetzbo, and even if it is the artificial leg of a amputee. Afilu shall eat some chuppah or asur, and there it's more relevant. Obviously, made of wood and covered with leather. That's also for the amputee. But of hemp or of straw, or beged or a garment, or shar meaning or other types of material, fabric, Mutter, it's put, I feel it says when we should survive you go out even and we should survive him with them at Kalashano. Penakwan the meaning Melu Gam Bim Chupim or Mutter. It doesn't mean that all that these species or these types are mutter, even the covered with leather, no. The Kinamash as you might think from superficial reading, the value also is also. And we shouldn't be show eight months. The Gemara Lios Mitzupa or Kosvukain. We find in the Gemara there's an opinion that with wood specifically, it's okay if it's covered with leather. Avalon Mechil, but in truth there's no distinction, therefore, no matter what. You can't have anything covered with leather. So that's a rifarush. Kimel Avashitas Rashi Minashalates Osir. The Rashi goes further. He says even a wooden clog is Osir. Same thing. Shall I make Rava because Rava concludes Shal Mishnah the amputee can go out with his artificial limb. So that's only on Shabbos, but on Yom Kippur it's not permitted because anybody would call it a shoe. Also, it says, "Bo, I know to go out that way." I ain't sure. I will show Gemi with show Sham the kash, but if it's made of hemp or of cork or straw, ubeged or garment, sharminim, and other types mutter. So the leather wooden leg. Those wooden leg. Well, let's go on. So, Shina's Ba'amor, the opinion of Ba'amor is the Maskana, inclusion the Rava, of Rava's conclusion, call me Masurim, all types of material, also seen in when they look like a shoe. Yeshita Zu the Chol Ramban rejects his opinion on Sham. Avshitas Rashi Taisa, but the opinion of Rashi Taisa, Mukhachol Heged B'Sugi Sham, it's clear on the Sugi there. Shabbos of Yavama Sham. So says Sugi Yuma. We have a contradiction in the Sugis of Shabbos, Yavama versus Yuma. The Bisham Muchach, led the Rabbanan Lomikim, the Kitea, the Kitea shoe shleitz, there's clear in other places that a wooden shoe is not considered a wood. Not considered to be a shoe. Yeah, this at least not an amputee's artificial limb. Tell my question because of Ramban, Shan the Mum have a rock like Meir Rabbi Yossi Rabbanan. And Yuma's going to write like Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yossi and not like Rabbanan. Going to this. They would have to say that Yuma, where it's not considered a wooden shoe is not, or a wooden leg would not be considered to be a shoe. That is according to the Amir Rabbi Yossi, not according to Rabbanan, would hold is a shoe. Like Rabbanan looks like Rabbanan, Ayin Sham, see there in the Ramban. L'chen Rif Levi is a cloud. Every Rif doesn't mean this at all. Chem Usham Reish Perek Yom Kippurim. Omer says, Tanya, you have to Mampalia. You go to sock. Tanya ain't the same. Some say you can't go out. We shall back it, we shall are. It says that it doesn't matter if it's cloth or leather. It's still those are matter both. Those are also both. Ayin Sham. L'chein Avol Bishum, but they said the respect that Tanya shall also have feel about Pal shall back it. So therefore, even though it says that in the Tosefta, they now go out even with a sock made of fabric. L'chashlo, we're not concerned with that. Came Shu Nega Babi Ushami, since it's against the Babi and Ushami. Achshel eitz. But if it's wood, ain't right, Ushami hat, there's no definite proof in the Ushami to be matter. Shara Perku based on Plukta, Perku based on Yibama, Sage Plukta in the Chalitza, Mikro Shades Mino, and there's a machlekes whether you can use a wooden shoe for a Chalitza. So therefore, one should refrain from wearing the wooden shoe or the wooden peg leg, wherever it is on Yom Kippur.